Welcome into PressBox Live. I'm Stan the Fan Charles of PressBox and PressBoxOnline.com. With me is Ross Grimsley, the old left-hander. Say hello, Ross.
What's up, Stan? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. We've got our man Mike Boddicker. He was tough to pin down, but the glitches in our emails were a little too much. We're going to talk to Mike Boddicker because I'll tell you why. We didn't set it up this way, Ross, but we couldn't get Jeremy Pena, who was last night's Rookie of the Year winner of the American League Championship Series MVP. So we've got the first guy that ever won it back in 1983. Mike Boddicker joins us in just a minute after I tell you a little bit about the Costas Inn. The Costas Inn is the preeminent place in Baltimore. Everybody knows that, for steamed crabs, crab cakes, crab soup. And I will take another portion of the crabs over to Gloria Gordon, Ross, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, please do.
I'll tell Mike about that off the air. But they also have specials each night of the week. Fantastic place. And during the pandemic, they really upped their game in curbside, or as we old timers used to call it, carry out. You can order online at CostasInn.com. Pay for it online, and when you pick it up, you don't even have to get out of your car. They'll bring it to you. Everything's bagged immaculately. Nothing like your crab soup's going to pour over your steak or anything like that. The Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard. Again, CostasInn.com. And as promised, joining us now is Mike Boddicker. And Mike, I had forgotten this last night, late in the night when that game ended and Jeremy Pena was awarded that. They showed who's won the award. You were the first ever rookie to win the American League Championship Series MVP. Do you remember much about that?
I don't remember what I had for breakfast, Stan.
It was only, 4 years ago?
Well, I'll tell you what you did. You threw in that postseason. You started one game against the White Sox. You shut them out with 14 strikeouts, and you only allowed 5 hits and 3 walks, 14 Ks. You turned around. You didn't get a shutout against the Phillies, but the only run you allowed was unearned, 9 innings. So
that was a lie.
Average.
That was a lie. That was a hit. They gave Ripken an error, and it shouldn't have been.
It was Cal's error.
It should have been a base hit. It should have been an earned run, which I don't really know.
It doesn't ruin the fact that you have a 0.00 ERA in 1983 postseason, and your WHIP is 0.66, that's crazy. You know,
what's WHIP?
WHIP is hits plus walks divided by
Really?
pitch.
What is WHIP?
You know, what is WHIP? He doesn't care. And your exit velo was pretty good too.
Oh yeah, it sure was.
Hey, let me start with, since you're playing that down, did you watch last night's Yankee-Houston game?
Yes.
What do you do with a starting pitcher who obviously was in distress there I could tell in the second inning he didn't look himself. Do you think they made a major miscalculation and should have pulled him the first time they came to the mound?
Yeah, you don't have much wiggle room when it comes to that situation.
Yeah.
Now, other stuff I really don't agree with. The analytics part of it, and I take it to the Cardinals series against the Phillies when the left-hander was throwing. He had given up 2 hits in 6 innings. He's only thrown 75 pitches, but analytics told everybody you need to get him out because the third time around. But didn't they even check to see that kid got stronger as his games went along? You have to take everything into consideration, and it cost the Cardinals. They end up losing the game and then the series. So, yeah, you got to use your head a little bit. You got to use a little bit of a gut feeling. There's they all talk about shifts and analytics and stuff. Hell, Earl was doing that. He had 3x5 cards, and he would slight shift people over, and everybody knew where they're supposed to be playing. Nobody had cards in their back pockets. Nobody had microphones in their hats, and we still managed to win. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Unbelievable.
Ross, go ahead. I know you got a couple for Mike.
No, I want to know, But now, 40 years ago, I know you struck out 14 guys. Now, tell me about your spin rate.
Yeah, my spin rate. Like I said, I had Durwood Merrill behind the plate. I had a strike zone the size of the state of Texas, which he was from. So, yeah, it was a good night. It was a good night.
Yeah,
No, I
did have a good football. Oh, I'm sure you did. But no, pitching in the playoffs of the World Series, it seemed to me the playoffs were a little more exciting, a little more pressure on you. And once you get through the playoffs, the World Series, it was a little anticlimactic because we just to get to the playoffs and win to get to the World Series was the thing. Did you have that feeling, or what was it like for you? What do you remember most of all about that?
I remember I hated everything about it till I crossed the white lines. And then it was like, I'm home. I can just relax and play ball. And, because there was so much hoopla and the media and all the other stuff, I didn't like that. But once I crossed the lines and got on the mound, turned around, saw all my guys back there, I went, okay, we're ready to go. All I really wanted to do, Ross, is throw as good as Scotty did.
Sure.
You think about it, Scotty lost 2-1 the first game of the playoffs. He lost 2-1 the first game of the World Series. They pitched awesome both games. And I'm going, if I can just do that, I'd be awful happy.
That's right. I forgot we lost the first game of that World Series. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who started for the Phillies that night? Was that John Denny?
Dave Denny. John Denny. That's right.
John Denny. Yeah.
John Denny. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a good pitcher. He was a good pitcher.
Yeah. So is Lamar Hoyt. I think he started against Lamar Hoyt with the White Sox.
Yeah.
So White Sox had a great team. Great team.
They really did they were a scary team for the Orioles in '83. Some of the games that they played were unbelievable. Remember the night that Richard Dotson was pitching and Dan Ford hit the foul pole and we won, I think 1-0.
1-0. It was a one-hitter.
Yeah.
It was a one-hitter, and that was the only hit Dotson gave up, and it was a home run off the foul pole.
Yeah, that was a great game. I wanted to ask you, yesterday, were you watching the Kansas City Chiefs playing football, or were you
Hell
watching?
Yes, I was.
Were you watching the Phillies and the Phillies in San Diego in the 8th inning by any chance?
I was going back and forth, Stan. Yeah, once the Chiefs got up big, I flipped back over. So
okay. I wanted to know what you thought of that at bat by Bryce Harper.
Harper, he had a bad thumb and a bad elbow going into the playoffs, and he wasn't catching up with any fastballs. He was late on 90 to 93 mile an hour fastballs, and guys kept throwing breaking balls. I'm going, you guys are idiots. He's not catching up. Well, it started to heal, and he's still a little late on the fastball, but I mean, he's hitting
those 100 mile an hour pitches to left field.
Yeah, left field now instead of pulling them. Yeah.
Now I'm just curious. I heard today. I thought about it. Again, managing isn't an exact science. Bob Melvin, that ball club, the Padres, went out and acquired Josh Hader. I get the math of how many people he would have had to retire to get the save that lead. You think he made a miscalculation?
Yeah.
Not taking Suarez out?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's hard to second guess some of this stuff. And a lot of the times, Stan, a lot of these managers their hands are kind of tied with all the analytics and the sabermetrics and stuff. And then the stuff is sent downstairs. You look at these poor guys, everybody's got a tablet. As soon as they get off the field, they're staring at their tablet. I'm going, watch the game. It'll tell you what's going on. You don't need a tablet.
It'll tell you what to do.
No.
I had to laugh. Mike.
I'm going to tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
I'm watching the Royals play this year, and they got a relief pitcher come in, and I'm going, okay, I really don't know this kid very well. And he goes off the back of the mound, he reaches in his back pocket, pulls out a card, stares at it, shoves it in his pocket, reaches in his other pocket, pulls out a card, stares at the card, gets on the mound, shakes his head, yes. Ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, ball 4. Guy goes to first. He gets off the mound, pulls the card out of his back pocket, right back pocket, shoves it back in, left back pocket, shoves it back in. Ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, ball 4. So I'm doing radio. I said, what does card say? Walk guys on 4 pitches?
Yeah.
That is fun. That is funny. Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is a little too much programming going on.
Oh, man. These poor kids can't think for themselves. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
They have meetings. They'll play a 3-game set against Cleveland. They'll play 2 games against somebody, and then they'll have another 3-game set against Cleveland, and they'll have 2-hour meetings every day. You can't remember these guys from 2 days ago?
Right.
Seriously?
Ross, let's see if you can get a question in. You're very fuzzy.
I know. Did you
Fuzzy.
watch,
You see his hair?
you watch any of the Philadelphia, San Diego? You watch any Philadelphia, San Diego?
Yes. I've seen certain. It's tough. I've got 11 grandkids and another one on the way in about a week and a half. So I've been kind of busy.
Good. That would be busy. But yeah, well, let's talk about the catching a little bit. I'm pretty sure you'll have some comments.
Hey,
But,
Ross, I'm going to ask
know
you to. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. So this doesn't become the doom zoom. Can you sign back on? Everything you're saying is muted and you're unclear on this screen.
That's Rossi's whole life.
I know.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'll try it again.
All right. Try it again.
All right.
In the meantime, I'll continue with Mike Boddicker,
Gotcha.
or this truly will become the doom zoom. Mike, just a general baseball question about Kansas City. Were you surprised at the fact that they let go of Dayton Moore and then very quickly after that, Mike Matheny? No,
not really. You know,
I can't get out.
Dayton got 3/4 of the way through the season. Everything's fine. The pitching's fine. I'm going, you need to look at these guys. It's not fine. You know, you don't lose that many games and everything's fine. And I wasn't surprised with Matheny either, because everybody kept saying, oh, Elder needs to be fired. Elder needs to be fired. But he wasn't going anywhere because him and Matheny were buddies.
Right.
So, yeah. And at the end of the season, as soon as JJ Picola took over as the GM, he started shaking some stuff up. The minor league system needs to be revamped. We cannot
fully develop players, get them from
pitchers, especially.
Yeah.
We can get some hitters, but our pitching is they just don't. I watch these kids on film in college, and they were better in college than they are now.
Yeah.
They can't throw strikes. I don't understand that.
Yeah. It was frustrating watching them because I thought they had a really solid nucleus of young players that were going to coalesce at the right time together.
They should be better. It was fun watching the O's get hot and play so well this year, and seeing people start getting back into the stadium. And because, I got Major League Baseball. It's fun because I can flip over, and I watched several games. I even texted Palmer a couple times when he was doing games.
Straighten him out,
which is kind of fun. Yeah, straighten him out.
Is it any better?
Yeah, much better. Let me finish one more question. Let me get ready with 2 questions, Ross. Mike.
No, well, I know we were going to talk about the catching. Now I know that the one knee catching. Give me your thoughts on that.
The one knee
because
catching.
there were 2 pass balls last night.
Yeah,
that the guy didn't have a prayer of getting to.
Well, I had the pleasure of throwing to Tony Pena, and he could do it. Salvador Perez can do it. Some of these guys, no chance. And you watch them and going, you can't. We've got a young catcher that came up, and he's just awful. I mean, he's kind of like.
Is this Melendez?
Yeah. And it was basically, okay, I'll go to the backstop and pick it up. I'll go to the backstop and pick it up, because he couldn't block nothing, and they were saying what a great defensive catcher he was. I'm going, I don't know what they're seeing, because that's not how you're supposed to do it. No, right. I'm not big on the one knee thing, but both those guys I mentioned, Tony Pena and Salvador, they could gun a guy down at second base
from their knee. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were good enough and they blocked everything. So with those guys, I was okay. But with most of these catchers, they can't do that. And there's some really good defensive catchers throughout.
Right.
But
we've been talking about it all year during this season. The difference between Chirinos, Rutschman, and Bemboom compared to Severino and Chance Sisco, it's one of the prime reasons the Orioles pitching staff was so improved.
yes,
I mean, there's no question about it.
a really good catcher makes a big difference. It really does. And if you can get a catcher who is in sync with you, I mean, it makes it so easy as a pitcher.
And that's exactly what happened with the O's doing that. But it seems like the reason for catching on the one knee is, from what I understood and what I hear, is to get the low strike.
But nobody throws the low strike anymore, do they?
No, no one throws it. I mean, everything and the framing thing. The framing thing has just got me completely the most overrated thing I think in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the most. I mean, that's that means you're insulting your umpire by having him yank the ball back 6 inches to a foot.
Yeah, you gotta be smart about that stuff. I mean, the framing is just turning your glove slightly or just flipping it up a little bit so it catches the bottom of the zone. It makes it, something out of the zone down, makes it look like it's at the bottom of the zone. To pull it in, I mean, umpires used to just scream at catchers if they.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
It's really got to be accomplished as you're catching the ball, not after you catch the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what are your thoughts on next year? We'll talk about the new rules coming in. I want your opinion. I want your opinion on a couple of the bases. I want on 18-inch bases. I've seen them. They're humongous.
Oh,
they are.
I just want to. If those rank right up there with putting a guy on second base and extra. Seriously? Well, yeah. Well, you can move a runner and get a run in and get the game over. No, nobody bunts. Nobody does any of that stuff. They swing from their heels with 2 strikes and strike out. Next. It's awful. The bases. I'm going. This is not softball.
Oh,
I mean, they're trying to make it into beer league.
I've got to be honest. I've grown to like the ghost runner during the regular season. I like that it goes away in the playoffs. The one that bothers me now that they still have an effect in the playoffs. You've played 162 games in a season. You've played the first round and second round, and you're there with a chance to win the World Series. And you're telling me a pitcher that comes in relief has got to pitch to 3 batters? Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
You're in such a hurry on October 29th or November 1st. You're in such a hurry that the game's 3 hours and 14 minutes rather than 3:12. I mean, it's ridiculous.
They're going to have to expand the rosters.
Yes, I'm telling you right now. If number one, if you don't want to go and watch a ball game, there's no time limit on it. Mm-hmm. Don't go. Don't go.
Right.
And
100%.
if you really want to speed up the game, teach these pitchers to actually throw strikes and not run 3-2 on everybody, and get rid of instant replay, because that's 20 minutes every game.
Yeah.
The replays, every game replay. To be a manager right now, all you have to do is be able to hold up one finger. It's wait a second, I want to check the replay, or I want the right or left-hander. That's it. That's all you do, because they send all the rosters and all the lineups down from upstairs.
Exactly.
All the analytic guys do, and they're already printed out. You just sign the card. That's it.
The ones I love I thought video was to make right the egregious mistake that might cost you a game. Not when a guy steals a base and he's clearly safe and he pops up and they tag him and they slow it down and watch it for 5 minutes and go, yep, he's out.
Oh, he came off the bag.
Yeah, he came off the bag.
You're
not the spirit of an egregious call.
That is not. No, that's stupid. And I have guys I do radio with. You got to get it right. I'm going, really? Seriously, is this not a human game? Do you not screw up at least 5 times a day? Everybody does.
Yep.
Okay. It's a human game. What was fun at the game? watching Billy Martin run out and argue, watching Earl run out and argue.
Yeah.
People would go nuts. We'd go nuts in the dugout. It was fun. Wasn't it fun?
It was amazing. It was
There's no fun
It's
anymore. There's no
boring.
fun anymore in life. There's
It's
no fun
boring.
anymore.
It is so boring.
Yeah.
Players wouldn't talk to each other. They come in and sit down and look at their tablets.
They have no idea what's going on in the game.
No. They need to put that netting up in front of the dugout because nobody's looking
Really?
up. Oh, ball,
Right.
kill 'em.
Everybody's on their cell phone.
No, you're right. That's very true.
And Mike, I'm looking at the early numbers of just a poll on MLB trade rumors, and they got like 59% to 41%. Astros are going to win this World Series.
Astros are
I've-
a beast right now.
They are, but I've seen them pitched to by the likes of Dean Kramer, Austin Voth, and Jordan Lyles. They're much more pitchable than I think. I just don't think the Yankees pitching staff is very good. Do you give the Phillies a chance with Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola?
Yeah. Anytime anybody's hot at the end, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Do you think we had the best team in baseball in '83 when we won it? No. We were hot, and
We
our
were hot.
pitchers were on fire at the time.
Yeah.
So, at any given time, good pitching will beat good hitting overall. But then it goes right back to Houston. They've got some pitching, man, and they got a great bullpen.
Yeah.
So
They
that's
give
hard.
up 4 earned runs. In the
Unbelievable.
postseason,
Yeah.
the bullpens give up 3 earned runs. So
Yeah.
they're dealing.
They are dealing, and everybody that they come in is like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
they're burying people. They're not just waiting around going 3-2. They're burying you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, to me, that's like, whoa, okay, that's scary.
Well,
And Phillies-
the Orioles did that this year as well. They threw
Yeah.
more strikes, got
More
ahead of
strikes.
more hitters, walked fewer hitters, and give up less home runs than they have over the last 10 years.
And guess what? They won.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like unbelievable, huh?
Isn't it amazing?
The ghost of Earl Weaver lives. Hey, Mike, well, we've got you on at the opportune time to talk about your charity event. Is it coming up again in November or December?
No, it comes up in April.
It comes up in April. I thought.
April.
Okay.
No,
Well, then
April.
we're way in front of it.
We were way early. Last year, I thought, with the pandemic over, people getting back to work and stuff. And I thought the first year was a perfect storm. Everybody was home and they had some money and they were buying tickets, and we raised $83,000, $5 tickets for this bourbon raffle. And last year it was like we raised $87,000. And it was amazing. All the money, every penny, and goes to Children's Mercy Hospital, which I love. That's my big thing. I hate to see sick kids. I would rather me be sick than see a little sick kid. So,
Right.
and basically it goes to the family fund, so they don't have to worry. It's kind of like the Ronald McDonald House, where you're not paying for a hotel, you're not paying for meals, you worry about your kid. We'll take care of your bills.
Yeah.
And that's what we want.
Tell us a little bit about who donates the bourbon that allows you to put it up for bid.
I would, but I have to come get it.
I buy a good share of it.
Oh, you buy it? Okay. I thought, okay.
No, but we do. My oldest son Corey's in a bourbon club here in town.
Okay.
And the guys are great. They help us out. And I have some friends in Oklahoma and different places who will get us a bottle. And out of the clear blue, I have a guy out of Blue Springs, Maryland, call up and say, "Hey, I got a bottle of this. I'd like to donate." And
Ross would give you a bottle of Boone's Farm if you need it.
Really? I'll go all out for that.
I think Bird would slap you to death.
Exactly.
Take her Boone's Farm.
Really.
So it's coming up. We'll have you on again before then. We'll make a point of having you on like in February to get some promotion for that. But essentially, how long does the raffle go on for, where people are buying tickets?
Generally, we'll start it a few weeks ahead of time before we have it. We do a little podcast thing. It's at a friend of mine's place who does a lot of the stuff, and it's out on the internet. And I have 2 of my guys with me that I do the radio with in the morning, and they're fabulous. They kind of MC it, and I'm there, and few players will come in. I'm going to try to get George Brett in this year. He was busy last year, but and it's just a fun time. It really is. We have a good time, and most of the people who win bottles of bourbon, I didn't donate to win anything. It's kind of nice, but I did it for the children's merchant, and that's what it's all about anyway. So
it's a wonderful charity cause.
All the charities around Stan are. I know there's plenty in Baltimore and plenty all over the country, and it does make a difference in people's lives. And Ross will tell you, we've been blessed with everything we have in our lives, and it's nice to give back a little bit if we can. Very little compared to a lot of people, but I'm pretty happy with it.
That sounds good. Ross, you got anything else for
Mike
Boddicker?
One more. We got Houston and Philly in the series. Who do you like?
Houston's a steamroller. I'm going to take Philly. I
have a feeling.
I just think they have
Philly.
that something that's going to push them over the edge.
Yeah,
I do. I just got that feeling.
How do you feel, Ross?
I'm Houston. With the pitching they got, and Altuve's starting to. I think he dorked a couple in last night.
Yeah, if he gets hot, it's all
25.
If he gets hot, it's all over.
Exactly right.
They lost Springer, and this kid just stepped up and just. He's awesome.
They just somebody just said they don't rebuild. They
reboot.
Reboot. Yeah. They reboot.
I don't know if it gets to that point where they reboot. It's just instant. They just keep bringing kids up, and that organization's got it figured out.
Yeah,
Mike, you've got, in talking to you over these last few years doing these Zooms, you've got a good handle on how things happen in sports. Do you think that Hal Steinbrenner is going to stick with Cashman and Boone, or do you think he might go get a David Stearns and kind of say, you know what, we got to change something?
Something needs to be changed. Yeah. I don't think Boone's going to make it out of there.
Yeah.
And I like Aaron, but I don't think he's going to make it out. I don't know about Cashman, but I can't imagine. New York's a tough place, man. It's a tough place, and you're only as good as your players anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody thought Joe Torre was the unbelievable genius. I'm sorry, even Ross could have won managing that team.
I won a couple games in the Technical Louisiana League. Come on, I was hot there for 2 years.
Hey, we appreciate your coming on tonight, especially getting through the technical glitches with the emails, and it turned out to be a good discussion. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Mike.
It's a blast, and you know what? You know what I'm mad about? I'm mad at you. The first thing out of your mouth is crabs, crab cakes, and crab soup. I'm starving for it now. Thank you very much, Stan.
Well, we'll tell you all.
We don't have that in Kansas City.
I'll let Gloria Gordon's husband. You knew Dick Gordon, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I knew Dick very well. I knew Gloria.
Right. Yeah. Well, I brought him over. Dick passed away about 4 years ago. So I did a nice thing. I went and got her crabs at the Costas Inn. Took him over there. I'll let Ross tell you off the air how I put my foot in the mouth last week.
That's different than what, Stan?
That's not really very different than anything. But it was very funny. Boog Powell was part of it, and he was jealous like you about the Costas Inn.
I talk to Boog every once in a while. I think I'm going to go down and see him here this spring.
He would love it.
Good. Yeah.
He would love it. We'll
have to send you some crabs.
All right.
I would any crab cakes, crab soup.
Crab cakes. How about crab cakes?
Well, crab cakes are good, but there's nothing better than sitting down with a mallet and crabs.
I know. We'll just send you crab cakes. We can't send you. We might be able to send crabs to you.
Had you ever eaten crabs before you became an Oriole?
No. Never. And I love them.
It's a rarity that the baseball players become Baltimore Orioles or Baltimore Ravens. We used to take Ravens when they were rookies out to eat crabs, and they're now 25 years later and they still love them.
Oh, it is so good.
Unbelievable.
So good.
All right, Mike, thank you very much for being on with you. All right.
Tell your beautiful wife hi from us.
Take care. Tell Bird hi.
I will, buddy.
All right. Talk to you guys
Take care.
later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
buddy.
Bye.
For Ross Grimsley. Ross, you got anything else you wanted to say?
No,
Handsome?
I'm good to go, buddy. I'm good to go.
All right. Appreciate it. We thank Mike Boddicker and we thank the folks at the Costas Inn at 4100 North Point Boulevard for bringing this show to you out there. We'll see you Wednesday night. Gary Stein and I will be on with some form of show. That's the night before the Ravens play at Tampa Bay, which should be an interesting football game. We'll see you soon, everybody. Bye.